This is Tim from England. I'm going to talk a bit about how to set up submixes in Ableton Live. Now, I've already created a live set, as I've taken a bunch of pre-recorded loops from a commercial live pack just to get the structure of the band. Now, I've set this up into to a bunch of strip channels here. So I've got the drum kit in number 1, percussion in number 2, bass in number 3, so it's kind of my rhythm section. I've got horns, sax 1, sax 2 and trumpet, and then over here I've got a rhythm guitar and a Rhodes piano. So if I play the loop straight out the box, the sounds are okay, but it does need some work. Here we go. So there's the sounds. What can we hear? Everything's a bit of a mash. Everything's straight through the centre, so there's no panning left and right, and some of the levels are a bit off. So what we ought to do is try and work out how we can set all of this up. Now, what we can do is group the instruments into clusters of instruments so that we can set the balance between each of those instruments relatively within their subgroups, and then of course we can mix those subgroups to sit together. Live's got quite a neat little trick to do this. So if I want to group together all to treat as a submix, if I want to treat the drum kit and the percussion and the bass together, all I have to do is highlight the 3 of those tracks. I can right click and I can choose group tracks, and that has the effect of creating this group here. You can see the blue strip going over the top. That creates a group of these 3 instruments. I can hide those if I like, so I've just got the group, or I can expand it back out again, and that allows me to create a single group here so that I can see how those tracks are going. I can do the same for the sax and the trumpet. I can create a group there. And if I scroll across to the side, I can take my guitar and my Rhodes piano, and again I can group those. So what that means now is I effectively have 3 separate groups. Of course, it'd be nice to be able to work out who they are. So what I'm going to do is rename them just so I can see what I've got. So group 1, I'm going to rename this. Now, interestingly, if you want to keep the numbering system in there, just choose on a Mac Alt-3 and it puts a hashtag in. And then I can call that rhythm. I could even spell rhythm right, that would be helpful. There's my rhythm section. That's now called it number 1 rhythm. That hashtag creates the number in there. And you'll now see that my drum kit says number 2, percussion's number 3, and so on. So it's shuffled them all up. I can do the same for my saxes or my horn section. I'm going to rename. And over at the end I've got my piano and guitar, so I'll just rename that piano P&G, piano and guitar. Okay. So what I might want to do now is treat all the horns together. So I can solo this group, and what that'll do is when I hit play I'll only hear the horn section. I can change my levels. Now, a horn section, traditionally in my band, the way I look at the band, I've got the drums down the centre, my horn section I would probably have off to the right. So now I can think about panning these guys across to the right. So I can use the pan on the group section, move that over to the right a bit. And within that, I might want to just bring one sax to the left, horn to the right, and now I've got my group all set up. And again, I can do the same with the rhythm section and my piano and guitar. So again, I'll set those up so that I've got the rhythm straight down the centre, but maybe with the bass guitar to one side and the percussion to another side, and the piano and the guitar, I think I'm going to have those off to the left. So I'll set those up now, and then we'll come back to see what that looks like. Okay, so now I've got each of my groups set up. I've got my rhythms here. I've got the drum, percussion and the bass, and I've got those with the percussion and the bass just slightly off to the left. I've got my horn section. The whole horn section is off to the right, and they're sort of panned around in between them. And then I've got my rhythm on my Rhodes piano. In fact, what I ought to do is just bring those over to the side, and I'll let the 2 of them stand together. Now we can see what the whole group sounds like together. And what I can start doing now is, rather than treating each individual instrument individually, I can look at just treating the groups. Here we go. A little bit too much of the horns, so I'll bring that down. Just to clarify, and then just to keep things nice and tidy, I can fold those all away, and now all I have to worry about are my 3 elements with their individual pan settings and their volume strips. So that's using submixes within Ableton Live. Simple as that. Thanks very much for listening.